Thank you for listening and welcome to the Life Radio Show, a once proud member of the now defunct Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. Our good friend Kevin Rupert is our guest co-host. We interview as we're being interviewed by the host of too many podcasts, Jim the Podcast Sherpa. If you enjoy the show, like and follow the Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at wwsu1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
All right, hey, welcome to the Life Radio Show. It is another episode of fun-filled whatever the hell. We are not in the radio. Yeah, very fun-filled, just stuff. We're not in the radio station today. We are actually at Wiley's Comedy Club showroom in downtown Dayton's historic Oregon district. I'm here with my guest co-host Kevin Rupert. It's been a little while since you've been in.
It has, yeah. It's just schedule's been a little bit crazy. Been doing some weird different stuff. Yeah. Did some zombie movie thing down in Cincinnati.
Nice,
but yeah, I'm happy to be back on the show, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah, too long.
Yeah, I agree.
You were a regular there for a while.
I was.
You were a backup plan.
Yeah, and then I got fired, and then I got hired back, and then fired again.
I forgot I fired you and then hired you back. That's
right.
True. That's true. All right. Well, we are on the phone right now with Jim, the Podcast Sherpa.
Right.
Hello there.
Hey, how's it going? So
I'm doing very well. Good to meet you guys.
Yeah, you too.
Hey,
so tell me a little bit about the Podcast Sherpa. Now, you podcast while leading explorers through the Himalayas. Is that?
Well, actually, we're just concerned with one mountain, and it's called Mount Podcastia.
Oh, okay, Mount
top.
Podcast. Oh, you're on the top already.
Yes, in the Sherpa Chalet.
Nice. I'm somewhere down in the foothills. I haven't even made it to the mountain yet. I've been doing this. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I still have not yet made it to the mountain. I'm still just crawling around at the bottom. I'm a bottom feeder in the podcast world.
And I'm in a cave, so it's
right.
It all works out.
Well, you're a Yeti. You're a Yeti.
That's
actually.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
So
there were mountains and mountains of podcasts, so that's why we call it Mount Podcastia.
Yeah, there
Nice.
you go. I got messages coming through my phone because every time I try to do something, I have either an ex-wife or a friend or a business partner texting me, and I'm going to break their neck. So let me take a minute to disable the notifications from these guys because I really don't want to hear from them right now.
Okay, I'll play some hold music in the meantime.
Perfect.
We can't do anything copyrighted because then we get sued.
Yeah. All right, perfect. I love it. So let's mute this for about 8 hours. That way I'll get back to them later. All right. Hey, crisis averted. Now if the ex-wife texts again, then I'm going to blow up. So. Actually, she's supposed to come pick up some of her mail here. So you might see a scene in a bit, Rupert. I'm going to make sure we get this on all recorded.
It's going to be like Maury. We have the secret reveal where your wife comes out or your ex-wife comes out, and we just kind of do the whole thing.
Right. And they're going to say, Kevin Rupert, you are the father.
Would not surprise me. I
really?
That would make perfect sense.
Anyway,
not with your wife, just anyone.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good because I wouldn't do it. Right. Let's get back on track here. So, Jim, the Podcast Sherpa, tell me about your podcast and how you guide lonely travelers up onto Mount Podcast.
Thank you very much. I think I will do that. I really became a podcast fan, I would say, roughly about 2 years ago. And I was just listening a lot. And, I have to tell a story to get to a story, if you don't mind.
Oh, that's fine.
There's a story about The Who. And when they said they were playing and Keith Moon wasn't in the band and he was in a club watching them and his hair was dyed red and he was drinking a red drink and he was wearing a red outfit. And after he heard them play, he got up and he said, I can play the drums like that. And that was Australian, but...
I'd say, I was going to point that out, but that's okay.
and he got up on the stage, played this crazy solo on the drums and then demolished the drum set.
Nice.
So I kind of felt like Keith Moon, like, okay, if I can do that, let me jump in and, I'll bang my drums. and just through my podcast.
All right. Yeah, it's just you looking at everybody else and thinking, yeah, I can do that too. That's
absolutely.
You haven't demolished your podcast yet, though.
Not yet. I've wanted to throw my microphone a couple of times, but I've been pretty good so far.
That's good. That's good. I haven't had to kick anybody off the air yet.
Really?
I've been close a few times. I've been real close a few times.
Right. I think I know of the instances you're referring to. But the subject shall remain nameless.
Yes. That's it. Watched him bomb horribly at a show like a week later,
really?
To the point where I don't think he's done a show since.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
It was your show. You actually ran that show.
Was it really?
Yeah, the Barrel.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, you remember that. Anyway, so you started podcasting. What was the goal of your podcast initially, or was it just something you wanted to do for fun to see if you had a knack for? Or?
Yeah, pretty much. The initial podcast, Too Many Podcasts, it's geared towards people who've never listened to podcasts, and there are a lot of people that are like that because I'm sure you've probably gone through that where you say I have a podcast, and the first question out of their mouth is, "What's a podcast?"
Right.
So I started just talking to a lot of different podcast hosts, and on different topics, so people would kind of get to know the hosts, and then they would talk about the shows they listen to, and I would do a section where I would recommend podcasts that were like the theme of what we were doing. If it was paranormal, I would recommend paranormal podcasts.
Oh, okay.
So it was, and then it kind of grew. I got into interviewing folks from the entertainment field, and I also started a second podcast called Expert Factory, where you kind of get life advice, and I'm looking for people to come on that show and just
what was
minutes.
The second one?
The expert. Oh, the entertainment one.
Yeah, there was a glitch in the phone real quick, and I didn't catch the name of it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that one is called the Sherpa Screening Room.
Oh, okay. That's sounds fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, everything is Sherpa with me. My website is sherpalution.com. If people want to follow me on social media, it's Sherpalution. So it's nice and easy.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it keeps everything. It's branding. It's all about branding.
Absolutely.
See, I'm all over the place, so I don't brand well. But with me, I have a little bit of an advantage. I don't have to tell people I have a podcast. I can say I have a radio show because that's actually where it started. Because I started off the Life radio show. It still is a live weekly radio show on WWSU. It's just now I'm putting out extra episodes each week, so I do some weekend recording with my own equipment outside of the studio. But it's still broadcast live every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern on WWSU 106.9 FM.
That's right.
So,
Right State Radio.
So, I can tell people I have a radio show, and they, even if they've never heard of a podcast, they know what a radio show is. They just don't know why people are still doing them.
It's still a medium.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, people still do it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Every now and then when I'm switching CDs out or switching MP3s in the car, a radio show will come on and be like, oh, that's what that is. And then Then I'll put the MP3 player back in. So
I got you.
And I also see that in the near future, you've got a couple of movies coming out that you are participating in.
Yes. I have several out now. We're actually doing a table read next week. We're getting started on Black Wolf, which is the next William Lee Cinema Lexicon production.
Nice.
And also I'm going to be working the following weekend on a short film with Eric Anderson, a local filmmaker and wonderful cinematographer. It's going to be called Buttons. So, I got a couple projects coming up here. So,
what genre is the Buttons one?
It's just drama, just a short film drama. Yeah,
nice. Nice.
It'll be fun. I haven't worked with Eric in a while. I worked with Eric last time. Was on From Gettysburg to Baghdad, where I played a major in the Confederate Army.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Why does that make perfect sense?
Well, no. I remember I made that roast joke about you kind of look like a Confederate general.
Oh,
sometimes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And I didn't even know about that movie. So
funny.
Now that's even better.
Yeah. There you go. But I have several things coming up. I try to keep a lot of projects going at once to the point of near insanity, I think.
Sure.
I was going to say, you probably make a great Confederate general because you probably got one of the best beards in Podcastia.
I appreciate that. I've never the best beards in Podcastia. That's
wow.
That sounds like a
title.
that's a very prestigious title in a very magical realm.
There you go. It's just like when I go to the movies and I see, the actor Sam Elliott, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And I always say, "Oh, look, Sam Elliott's in this movie," and so is his mustache.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if the mustache has a separate contract when they sign on to play these movies.
It should. I fully intend to register my beard as a separate entity.
There you go.
That way, I'll get a double paycheck that way
Right.
every film I do.
You can write off the beard oil on your taxes.
I already
stuff
do.
like that.
I already
Okay.
do. Yeah.
There you go.
If you're going to have the best beard in Podcastia, then you should.
gotta
You
get some
have to
benefits.
account for that. Yeah. Beard accounting. It's the next big thing.
That's right. That's right.
You can get your beard your own Facebook page.
It should. Why don't I do that yet?
You really should, man.
Yeah, well, that would give me that would have 5 separate Facebook pages that I manage other than my main Facebook.
Wouldn't that
page,
be
so
crazy if like the beard page took off and got like more followers than any of your other pages?
It's likely.
It could happen. I mean, it's pretty unique. So
It's likely 'cause I don't have a lot of followers. No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
you
I do
got-
okay.
yeah,
I
you
do
do
okay.
all right.
I do okay.
yeah.
I'm actually looking at Facebook here, and there are pages that are dedicated to facial hair, especially with mustaches.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a beard
yeah.
and
Wow,
mustache
okay.
society.
That makes perfect sense. I should get involved. I should get more involved in society. That way, I can not just have the best beard in Podcastia. It could be, I could expand.
Right. You can get to
That's
the
right.
top of Mount Bearding Podcasts or something like that.
Yeah, I should start a new podcast dedicated just to beards.
You could do that.
No,
Yeah.
that's a lot of work.
That's-
Just one
yeah,
podcast is enough for me.
You're kind of diving into the deep end on the beard thing now. Like
Right,
you
right.
have too many irons in the fire beard wise.
Right,
It'd
and
be too much to.
it'll catch fire, and then I'll lose my beard.
That's right.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to keep too many irons in the fire when you have a big beard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
Gets
both of you guys
overwhelming.
have a comedy background as stand-up comics. What's probably the worst gig that either one of you have done?
Oh, go take it, Rupert, because
Oh,
you've
man.
done a lot more than me lately. I've just been doing it a little bit longer, so go ahead.
Well, I've had a lot of rough ones. I had one in Toledo a few days ago where it was mostly college students.
Oh,
And I tell some jokes that are like on the politically incorrect side of things. 9/11 jokes, for example.
oh yeah, those are fun.
Right, I like them a lot. But then I do another one about how I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to renew my license because I'm white, so like they're never going to pull me over. That's like the gist of it. And I did that joke in front of a college crowd, and it was like crickets.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that
I
joke
can see
normally
that.
does well. It's typically my closer, but yeah, it was an interesting crowd. So that was kind of a tough one. That was recent.
Yeah, college shows. I did one show at a college once, and it was
Okay.
it was a disaster. It was 20 minutes of bombing.
Was it?
I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed because they were getting so mad at me. There was only like 12 people,
okay.
and there were like 6 when I left.
That happens.
I
sometimes.
walked 50% of the audience. I was kind of proud of that because it started off, I was doing kind of clean material and inoffensive, and they were still getting mad at stuff. So I was like, okay.
Right.
And I turned it up and started doing all of my worst bits that I could possibly come up with. And man, they were not happy. They were not happy at all.
Was this here locally? Was it
Yes,
like
yeah.
Wright State? Or
No, it wasn't at Wright State, but it
Okay.
was at another
another institution.
yeah, it was another. They should have been institutionalized. I actually, the person that booked me for that show was very concerned about whether or not she would have a job afterward.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't
Okay.
cuss. It was still clean. It was just
Right.
my
Just-
dirty clean.
they
I
didn't
was
like the-
I was actually told not too long ago that I'm deceptively dirty
Okay.
because I can seem clean and then all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden I'll throw in something that's a little on the I was able to sneak in an abortion joke that
Okay.
somehow worked. And that's that's a little dirty and I have a joke about a squirting clown.
Okay.
But it's just seltzer water, and I got the bottle away from her. But
Gotcha.
so I'm
but
able
no,
to sneak some of that in every now and then.
but no cussing.
But
No
yeah,
cussing.
if you do it without cussing, you can surprise them with
Right.
the how dirty you can get. But
That's interesting.
but no, still the number one worst show that I like to think about every time, and that's I don't know if you've ever experienced the chapter.
That was before I got to Dayton, I think.
I thought it was, but the Chapter Bar in Fairborn was notorious. We called it a notorious comedian killer.
Okay.
Because if you were fairly new and you did that show, you might not
Right.
do anymore. In fact, that was the third show I ever did.
Gotcha.
Was at the Chapter open mic.
It was like the old stage door, basically.
Oh yeah, it was bad because basically nobody there. It's a Tuesday night in a little dive bar, a little mom and pop
that
place,
could be rough.
and nobody wanted comics there. Nobody knew. Most of them didn't know they were going to be there. You're in a room full of the bar's regulars that are just
Right.
there to forget about being alive, basically.
They're just there to talk and hang out and stuff
Right.
like that, and then a comedian walks on stage. They're like, "What the?
Yeah,
what the hell's going on?"
exactly. And there were no laughs that I recall in my entire set. I did
Okay.
7 minutes up there, and the only thing I remember hearing from the audience is at one point some drunk old lady at the bar would just went, "My God, this is awful."
Oh man, that's
If I
classic.
hadn't had other shows booked, I might
Yeah.
have quit. That might have been
Sure,
it for me. It's
sure.
like, I'm no good at this, but. Because
Yeah.
I had a pretty good set at the Funny Bone, then I had a
Right.
really good set here at Wiley's. Good enough set here at Wiley's that I let them convince me to sign up for the fireworks competition.
Wow. Okay.
I did the chapter that Tuesday. I was in the competition that Friday.
Gotcha.
So you talk about going into a competition
man.
with zero confidence at all. It's like I just got knocked on my butt.
it's a roller coaster ride sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah, because my fifth time on stage ever was actually in the finals. So somehow
that's
I made
right.
it through. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's amazing.
So I had a little bit of confidence after that. But yeah, that was
That
the
kinda
chapter
saved
bar. I will say this about the chapter bar: if you want to toughen your skin as a comic, that was the place to do it.
Right.
Because when I decided I wasn't going to let it kill me, I went back and I did that show 4 more times.
Wow. Okay.
And out of those 4 more times, I bombed 3 more times. Finally, the last show I did there, I got the audience on my side because the guy before me did so bad
Okay.
that they were just looking at him being trashed, and I went after him.
You
for
were
a
able to
little bit.
riff off of it, and
And sadly, he never did comedy again.
oh no, you killed his comedy career. Don, you almost did that to me on the fireworks competition because you buried me pretty hard. I don't know if you remember
that Friday night I was on fire
You
that night.
did,
That was weird.
You had a great set. I was sitting right over there. We're in Wiley's Comedy Club, so we can kind of see the layout of what it was like that night. I was sitting right over there watching you, and I was like, "This is going to be tough to follow." And then I got up there and forgot my first joke, and I was like, "Oh man." But,
yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
yeah, I think I kind of recovered, but it was it was a tough one. But you had a great set though.
Yeah, that Friday night was one of the better sets I've had in a while, and I don't
Yeah.
know what happened, but I hope we didn't lose the Sherpa because we just kind of got
Oh,
off
yeah,
on
sorry,
a tangent
sorry,
here.
It's fine, guys. Not a problem. Who were the comedians that you guys probably admired the most when you were coming up doing that?
There were a lot. One of my all time favorites is unfortunately no longer with us. The wonderful. I can't even think of his name right offhand. That's weird. That's
from
weird.
SNL.
No. Wow.
I'm blanking on some names.
Yeah,
too.
the boy from New York City. That was one of his big ones.
Richard
Jenny. Yes.
Got
Why could I
yes.
not think? I loved Richard Jenny. That
he's
guy
good.
was a brilliant joke writer. But he was definitely one of my favorites. And if you don't count all the stupidity with the props and the sledge-o-matic, in the 80s I grew up to Gallagher, and I thought he was really good until he got too far gone with the
Right.
sledge-o-matic. Then it's like, okay, you lost me, bud. You were funny, and now this thing's
went-
just a little too much.
Went full Carrot Top, basically. He just
Yes,
kind of
yes,
went to that
yeah.
end of the spectrum. I would say that some of the comedians that I look at that I like a lot are I like Mark Norman. I think he's pretty funny. I think Norm Macdonald is kind of underrated.
Norm Macdonald's very underrated. I
Yeah,
always thought
yeah.
he was brilliant just because he was so deadpan and so goofy
Right.
at the same time. Yeah,
Right.
he was definitely one that I
Yeah.
thought was very underrated.
Yeah, he's a comic genius. He's amazing. And then just like Louis C.K. and Dave Chappelle, kind of some of the bigger names. Like I started watching those videos before I started doing stand up myself. So yeah, those are a few of them.
Yeah, there's always a few. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a few.
Sure. Well, I'm such a horrible comedian. I guess probably because I always looked up to Joseph Stalin. So I get,
He was a funny guy.
Yeah, he was.
He had jokes.
It's very dark humor. Very dark humor.
And the mustache.
Super dark.
Yeah, and a mustache,
Yeah,
which, I mean, that's
right.
an extra point there. You know? Never knew Joseph Stalin was much of a comedian, but that's,
I mean, but when you're doing that much public speaking, like, you got to have some jokes in there.
That's true. That's true.
And
yeah.
you're going to crush every time, because if the audience doesn't laugh at
You
you,
can kill
it could
them.
end up in the gulag. So
Right,
you
right,
gotta, it's kind of an advantage.
Yeah.
It's if
I'm
he did,
sure. I'm sure after a couple of bottles of vodka, he was like, "What is due with poverty?"
Yeah, well, there was always Yakov
Yakov
Smirnoff for that.
That's right.
Yeah, incidentally named after a vodka, I think.
oh, that's right. That's right. Man.
I love vodka. Anyway,
So, long story short, Stalin would kill in the fireworks competition. He would probably win.
yeah.
So-
Well, I don't know if he would here, because I mean we're
Right,
not easily intimidated here at the club.
That's
you know.
true. That's true.
We're pretty. If you're not funny, we're not going to laugh at you. You don't care who you are. That phone
Right.
keeps beeping, and somebody's getting.
Oh, is it the messages coming through?
Probably. Anyway, so you have 2 or 3 podcasts. See, we'll switch back and interview again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The Sherpa Screening Room is kind of like a sub podcast of Too Many Podcasts, I guess, because it's interview, and the Expert Factory is basically just kind of guest experts talking, and I just kind of slap an intro and an outro on it and take all the credit.
Oh, well, there you go.
But
That's
people
all I
like to
really
promote
do.
their stuff, though. Yeah.
That's all I really do. I let my guest co-host do all the work, and I just say, "Look what I did."
Right. I was going to ask Jim, like, when people come on your podcast, do you have different tips for how to get to the top of Mount Podcast, so to speak? Like, is that part of it too, just kind of providing advice on how to grow an audience?
Well, no, I kind of let them do their own thing. A lot of them are probably doing much better than I am, so I don't think they want to take my advice.
It's
Gotcha.
a hard mountain to get to the top of, though.
Sure.
I mean, it really
absolutely.
is. Because there are so many climbers that are just reaching up to grab your feet and drag you back.
Right, right.
Yeah. Do you want to hear something strange, though? My 2 most listened to episodes, the titles of them reference celebrities, and the celebrities aren't on the show or anything like that. One mentions Howard Stern, and that's my most listened to podcast, and another one references Joe Rogan, and that's the second most listened to episode.
So
Is that strange?
I should just put a celebrity name in every one of my
That's
episode
a great
titles.
idea. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Just it's like a
this is what I'm
clickbait
doing.
thing.
Yeah, I had a previous guest for my season 2 finale, a guy named Christopher Carter, and that's exactly what we did. So we're calling it, Hey Joe Rogan, Christopher Carter needs a lab coat stat, because we were doing an experiment. And I appeared on his show, and we're going to title his episode "The Least Listened To Episode." So we want to see who
There you
gets
go.
curious and clicks on the button.
Yeah, that's reverse psychology.
It's a good strategy.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah. But I like to see the way I come up with my episode titles is during the interview or during the news stories, we'll come up with just some weird random phrase that somebody will just throw out, and that just becomes the name of the podcast, because it's just the weirder the better with
Right.
us. And I need to start including some celebrity names in my weird titles. That way I can. That way, even though there might be an uproar from these celebrities saying I was never part of a podcast titled that, and then
Right.
then there's all this free publicity for me
Exactly.
trying to stick them into a podcast titled "Nipple Clamps and Rubber Glue," or something like that. Whatever I come up with.
Yeah, they say all publicity is good publicity, right? So
Exactly.
that's how it works.
Yeah,
That's what
I
you
think
gotta
as long
do
as we
these
don't
days.
defame them, then we're good.
Yeah,
That's
I have like pages of episode titles, a lot of which never got used. Grunting and peeing.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, these
How
are
did you
all
not use that one? That's
well,
amazing.
because I used the Kung Fu Hillbilly on
Oh,
that one
okay.
instead,
Yeah, that's a little
because
better.
that seemed a little bit better. And this one I actually used Dragon Dildos, Truck Nuts, and Thunder Cookies. So it all depends on
Right.
all depends on what we end up coming up with in the course of the show.
Do you have a favorite show title, like offhand, that you think of that you're like, that's the one?
There have been like 335 podcast episodes of the Life Radio Show, so picking a favorite title
It's tough.
I think one of my favorite episodes just there are so many. But there was one with Scotty Mays where we were talking about the Amish Uber.
Okay.
It's a guy that has an Amish Uber in a town called Colon. Colon.
Okay.
And there's a nearby restaurant called Curly's. So it was talking about giving people a ride from Colon to Curly's, and for some reason, from Colon to Curly's, it's like that's like a threat my dad would make. Boy, I'm going to rip you from Colon to Curly's. You know,
I was on that episode, I think, but I was on the second hour.
Right.
So you guys did that in the first hour, and then you kept doing callbacks to it, and I was just sitting there like, what is this all about? Like, I was confused.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That was one of my favorite moments. That and the bull simulator.
Okay, yeah,
Were you
that's
part of that one?
I might not have been on that one.
So somebody made a joke. We were covering a news story that was about the
bull simulator.
There was
I
a
remember
fire.
now.
There was a fire in an Australian farm where it destroyed like hundreds of barrels of bull semen. And we were also talking about how there are so many apps for everything. And one of my guests said, I said something about how. He said something about how tiring it would be to replace all that bull semen by hand. And and I said there's probably an app for that. And my producer, Patrick, started looking it up on his phone, and we came across a game, a phone game called Bull Family Simulator.
That's right. And it was created in Asia, right? Like in Japan or China?
I don't know, because the English, it was such broken English throughout the whole description, and I read basically the whole description. I was in tears laughing at this thing. It was still one of the greatest spontaneous stupid moments.
I think I remember that.
So every now and then we just go off on it, like we just did, going off on a tangent on names. I think going off on a tangent just might be the episode title. So.
That's perfect.
But yeah, that's so many weird names we've got, so many things. When I look back over 5 years of doing the radio show, over 3 years as a podcast now, I can't believe how many stupid things we've come up with to kill 2 to 3 hours every week.
Right. Well, you have to, because otherwise, like, it's just dead air. So you have to keep saying stuff.
Exactly.
And funny stuff comes out eventually. Or hopefully.
Yeah, it's kind of like improv. Hopefully something funny happens.
Yeah. Jim, do you have a favorite show title out of all the podcasts that you've done?
I was just looking through some of my titles, and some of them are, cutesy, clever. I think probably one of my favorite ones was a show I had, and I couldn't find any guests this week, so I did kind of like a solo thing. So I called it Jim the Podcast Sherpa Fly Solo, and somehow manages to knock over the drink cart.
makes sense to me.
That's good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So far, we've just got off on a tangent with the podcast Sherpa.
Okay,
that's simple. We'll get to news stories. We'll definitely come up with something different.
Anytime you've got Sherpa in the title, though, you're going to get some clicks, because Sherpa is like that's a thing that people are checking out, because a lot of people are climbing Everest.
Yeah, my coffee just spit up in my mustache.
Oh,
that's man. That's a bad morning when your coffee's spitting on you. All right, get that off.
It's a caffeine attack.
Exactly. Now, some of it went up my nose. Now I'm gonna be all wired. That's the best way to wake up. Just snort your coffee.
Just absorb it right through the nose.
Exactly.
There are other ways to absorb it, but it's a little more complicated.
Right.
But we'll just
I've heard of a coffee enema before, but
I heard about that recently too. That's I can't believe people do that, but it's a real thing.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Probably an interesting feeling.
I've tasted some coffee. It kind of tasted like it should have been. It should have been. The Starbucks comes to mind, honestly.
Yeah, I
their
agree.
coffee. That's the best thing you can do. Is just stick it somewhere. We're probably not going to get Starbucks as a sponsor anyway.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
We keep going for Aquafina on the radio show.
That's right.
We don't have Aquafina today, so we can't do that either.
Tim Hortons, if you're listening, there's an opening.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, because I don't mind Tim Hortons.
It's actually
coffee.
not bad.
That's one of the better coffees that you can get. Their donuts aren't great, but their coffee's good.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts is all right sometimes.
Not a big fan of Dunkin'. Not a fan of Dunkin'.
Gotcha. Maybe it's just a Canadian Dunkin', because that's. Oh, is Dunkin' the one that's based out of Canada, or is that?
That's Tim Hortons.
Oh, that's Tim Hortons. All right.
That's Tim Hortons. Anyway, I think we're going to have to take a quick break. Just so I can see how many text messages I got from people that I probably don't want to hear from. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more with the Sherpa, and we'll hit some news stories.
Sweet.
All right, Jim, stick around. We'll be back here shortly.
Okay.
On the day the cartoon animal reverted to their natural state. All the kids agree was a sight to see when they peeled off the paper and they all ran free. On the day the cartoon animals reverted to their original work, they threw off their anthropomorphic ways and totally went berserk. And there was Smokey the Bear choking on a camper. Smokey the Bear choking on a camper. Smokey the Bear choking on a camper. Boo Boo and Yogi dining in the dumpster. Well, look at old Mickey, that dirty old rat, got a mouthful of cheese and his head in a trap. Donald's in a Chinese restaurant booth with a ginger glaze and no sailor suit, and there's Smokey the Bear choking on a camper. Smokey the Bear choking on a camper. Smokey the Bear choking on a camper. Bugs Bunny in the laboratory testing mascara. Well, Rocky's just a roadkill squirrel. Surprise, only flying being done by fly. Bullwinkle's in the woods far away from here with a radio collar and a tag in his ear. And Smokey the Bear's choking on a camper. Smokey the Bear's choking on a camper. Smokey the Bear's choking on a camper. Porky smells nicer on a spiral slicer. Goofy's sniffing out drugs at the border. Bambi's on the turnpike riding on a fender. Yow.
Hi, this is Haywood Banks at Wiley's Comedy Club in Dayton, and you're listening to the Life Radio Show at WWSU, Dayton's Right Choice.
I went that damn phone again. Hey, well,
that's the signal that we're back on.
Yep, that is the we're back on the air signal. Hey, welcome back to the Life Radio Show. I'm your host Don Smith, sitting in with my guest co-host Kevin Rupert.
I'm still here.
Yep. I want to throw out right now that in a couple weeks, March 10th, you're going to want to you're really going to want to tune in for that one. I mean, next week's going to be great because we have Lana Reed and Lisa London and Adrian Miller. But March 10th, Scotty Mad Dog Mays is going head to head in a guest co-host showdown against Autumn the Hatchet Hatcher. And they're competing. Did you listen to last week's episode?
I didn't get a chance to listen to it yet.
I have a trophy for them.
Okay,
I do. They're going to get the trophy. It is a rooster. So they're competing for the Life Radio Show's coveted golden cock. Is what they're going for. And one of those two is going to walk out head held high, cock in hand.
Now, what does the competition consist of?
No idea.
Oh, okay.
I will tell you that Autumn is ahead right now.
Okay.
We haven't even started that. That's
and
2 weeks out, and she's already winning. Now, she did lose some points because I asked her to step in last week when somebody canceled. Okay. And she couldn't because she was in Jamaica. So I deducted 5 points because she was in Jamaica while it was snowing here. So she lost 5 points there, but she got 2 points back because she sent me a picture of her in Jamaica in her bathing suit. So made up a little bit for that. Scotty lost 5 points automatically because the last time he was on the show, he did the last half of the show with his shirt off.
Oh, okay.
So I had to deduct points for that. So
that makes sense.
Now, Autumn, if you're listening, if you go on the show with your shirt off, you will gain 10 points.
Seems like a fair scale to me, honestly.
In fact, you will gain points for that, and Scotty will automatically lose any just for being there when it happened. You know?
Right. That's for Autumn. That's the ace in the hole. That's her automatic victory. If she's got to throw a Hail Mary, it's I mean, Scott, what does Scotty have in terms of Hail Marys? Like, he doesn't really have any options. He just kind of has to, win it on the field fair and square.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's he
doesn't. He doesn't have the ace in the hole that Autumn has because there's some reason I'm partial to giving Autumn my cock. the trophy.
That's right. That's right.
Why are you looking at me?
These are things we can't say on the radio, just on the podcast.
Right, just on the podcast. This will probably never go out over the radio.
Now, that's a good question. So the winner of the contest gets the golden cock, but can you call it that on the radio show, or do you have
Already did.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a rooster.
It's actually... okay.
It actually is a rooster. I have a picture of it.
Okay.
Because I had to share with them what they were competing for. essentially I sent them a cock pic.
Hey, that's,
Why not?
it's 2020,
Hey,
Get on
Don,
board.
Yeah.
are you going to call this competition Cockamania?
Cockamania, or that's
It's a good title.
yeah. I'm going to write that down. That is a good possibility. Well, I accidentally wrote down Cockamania, which is good too. But
Both are good titles, really.
yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. That was because
No problem.
I was trying to come up with something similar to that because
Right.
what I want them to do they haven't done yet, and they might each lose a couple points for not having done this yet.
Okay.
I want them to start doing some Facebook Live videos like the WWE wrestlers where they're just talking shit
Just
about
talk-
each other.
just going back and forth.
Just going back and
Yeah.
forth, and I let that slip out, and I think we'll just put this out as a podcast episode. I don't think this one will go out over the air,
Gotcha.
But that's fine. That's fine. We don't need everything to go out over WWSU. See, this way
true.
I can monetize this one, and they don't have to worry
Absolutely.
about it.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I'd do the other ones anyway. I just wouldn't tell them.
Hey, come on, it's Wright State. Nobody's paying
Yeah,
attention
yeah.
over there. I mean,
Well, it's Wright
they
State.
don't-
Nobody's paying for anything. I work there. They don't pay their employees.
yeah, I used to work there too, and I can
Oh, that's
concur
right,
with
that's
that
right,
with
you
that
did.
statement.
We both used to work
the
there and
best-
realize, hey, this ain't worth a shit.
The best part about working there was that my office was right above your radio show, and so I could just walk down there after work.
Right,
And yeah,
right.
That was the only perk.
Yeah,
Like,
that was the
everything
only
else-
perk. Is if somebody canceled, I could say, hey, Rupert. All
man,
right.
Wright
Are
State.
we ready for some news stories?
Sounds good.
Now that we're dissing Wright State, I like that. That's one of my
Absolutely.
favorite things to do. Okay, let's
And
see.
now
what
it's
we got.
time for the news.
Now it's time for the news. An Alaska-based airman. That sounds like a superhero. An Alaska-based airman was punished last week for reportedly peeing in an office coffee maker, according to a report. The incident was reported in a newsletter written by the legal office of the Anchorage Joint Base Elmendorf Richardson on February 13th, although many of the details remained a mystery. According to the newsletter, the Airman First Class violated two articles, one being Article 92, dereliction of duty for failure to refrain from urinating in a coffee maker. That's actually what in quotations, for failure to refrain from urinating in an office coffee maker. They have very specific rules, apparently.
Right.
The airman also allegedly violated Article 86, absence without leave for 5 days away from duty. But yeah, Article 92, dereliction of duty for failure to refrain from urinating in an office coffee maker.
Wow, that's a low bar.
It's a very specific rule.
It is.
There's been some things happen there before, I think.
Sure, a lot of coffee enemas and just other coffee-related incidents. What do you think of
Yes.
that, Jim? What's your take?
I think they have a little bit too much free time over in Alaska.
Definitely. Well, you got to go somewhere.
That's true. Yeah, sometimes it's the only option. You just got to open up the. Did you say it was a coffee? It was a coffee maker,
It was
right?
a coffee maker. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
That
So I
sounds
just
like
wonder
Starbucks.
if he did in the reservoir before it brewed the coffee, or did it? That's the real mystery here. Because see, if it was just in the carafe, it could have been he had to go really bad and there wasn't any place. But if it's
Right.
in the top,
Yeah.
and then he brewed coffee with it,
Right.
That's malicious intent right there. That's definitely something that
He intended for other people to partake.
right,
Yeah.
right. Now there
Yeah.
is. I wonder if he was trying a new blend. Clearly. Because there's that really expensive coffee that they have that's made from coffee beans that are digested and crapped out by this
that's
tiger.
right. That's right.
So that could have been what he's going for. Maybe he
So he's just
thought he was.
experimenting.
Yeah, that's all it was. He was just
Right.
trying a new flavor. You know,
He had a checklist of different ingredients that he wanted to try.
right?
And so one time he tried Splenda, another time he just threw some random other stuff
Right.
in there, and then you get around to eventually you pee in it.
Yeah, because every now and then here, just for fun, I'll
Mm-hmm.
put Pepsi in the coffee maker and have Pepsi.
I thought you were going to say I thought you pee in the
No,
coffee.
no, I don't. No, I don't. Not here.
Gotcha. As long as you don't pee in the Yingling,
Yeah.
it's good with me.
I mean,
That's
I
my
do at
drink of
Starbucks
choice.
because nobody knows the difference.
Oh, okay. Who doesn't at Starbucks? That's they don't.
Right? Yeah. Who doesn't?
That's
pee
why
in
the
coffee?
bathrooms are always locked. People just go over and pee in the coffee
Right,
maker. That's,
right.
that makes perfect sense.
Are they going to have to put an extra button on the coffee maker now, or like half and half sugar, urine?
I think so. I think so. It's a Mr. Coffee.
That's right.
The Mrs. Coffee is more like a squatty potty.
It's a new feature on the Keurig.
Right.
That extra button.
Right. Yep. Yep.
It's yellow. That's
Yeah.
how
That's
you know.
don't hit the yellow button. That's
Definitely don't hit the brown button. That's
right. Right.
It's
That's
even
a whole.
worse.
Well, that's more like chili. You get
that's after taco night.
right. Oh, man. The Leaning Tower of Dallas, a social media sensation born when part of a building survived implosion, endured scores of blows from a wrecking ball on Monday. Dozens of people gathered around the Texas city's downtown to watch as a crane was used to batter the former Affiliated Computer Services building. The 11-story building found a second life online after surviving the first demolition attempt. It inspired jokes and comparisons to Italy's Leaning Tower of Pisa when on February 16th, the implosion failed to bring it down its core. The company that engineered the blast said some explosions didn't go off, and the following week the people flocked to the site to post photos of themselves pretending to prop up the lopsided tower. That's the story of my life. The remainder of the building proved resilient Monday, and some onlookers were nonplussed by the ball that began swinging around 9 a.m., nonplussed by the ball. That's
a good potential show title.
That is. I'll write that down in a second. They're taking the wrecking ball and hitting the side of it over and over again, and it's just ineffective, said Sean Graybill, a 24-year-old who lived nearby and came out in his pajamas to watch the demolition. It's not knocking the tower down. He was talking about his pajamas, I think. They needed Miley Cyrus. That's what it is. That's the wrecking ball they needed to take that building down. Yes.
What type of building was this? Like what did it do previously? Like what was its function?
Affiliated Computer Services.
Okay, I was going to guess Cialis Factory, but that was just my initial assumption.
That makes sense. Sometimes it's hard to knock that down. If you have a building that stays up for more than 4 hours,
you need to.
Yes. Yeah, Miley Cyrus could probably knock that down too.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's her specialty.
Yep, she's just a wrecking ball. That's all there is to it.
She's knocked down many a tower in her day.
Yep, that is the right person for that song, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, because
right.
I'm not up on my Miley lore.
Jim, can you confirm, is that a Miley Cyrus song? I think it
Wrecking
is.
Ball?
Yeah.
or not go with the Dallas building.
Either one, or Viagra Factory.
Either one.
Yeah, I'm picturing, you said there's a computer service. Wondering if people are calling them saying, I ain't got no internet today. Okay, well, why don't you unplug your modem and stand on one foot and lean to the right and see what happens?
Yep. Have you tried unplugging the building and plugging it back in? That's
A little troubleshooting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man. Is the building plugged in? Sorry, that was terrible.
Tom, how dare you? That's definitely can't say that on Right State Radio. That's for sure.
All those college students will have a fit.
Exactly.
Oh. A 911 call over someone getting stung by a bee in Pasadena, California, spiraled into a wild situation, with first responders, including firefighters and police, getting attacked by an aggressive swarm of an estimated 30,000 to 40,000 bees, and multiple people being taken to the hospital. Around 4 p.m. Thursday, someone called 911 about a person being stung by a bee near Pasadena City College, the Los Angeles Times reported. While only one person had been stung at the time of the call, the caller observed several bees in the area and may have had a sense that things could take a turn. Pasadena Fire Department spokesperson Lisa Derderian. The first firefighter to arrive at the scene immediately, quote, started getting attacked by the bees, Derderian said, noting that the number of bees in that area at that point was absolutely massive. The call over the radio was... There's a block-long swarm of bees. Block long.
That's terrifying.
That's
everybody's freaking out about coronavirus, but we got bees on the loose.
Yes.
That's it's good to be in Ohio right now where it's still cold.
Yeah.
Where was this at again?
Pasadena.
Yeah, they got bees year round. That's a year-round problem.
Yes. And apparently
so we can have
block
the Crips.
long.
The Crips, the Bloods, and the bees?
Yeah, there you go. Well, they were Wu-Tang Killer bees, I think.
It's even worse. They can sting multiple times. They like to attack police. That's their main characteristic.
Yes, yeah, that is. Oh man.
No, that's
right.
the NWABs. That's
Right. That's
forgot.
right. That's right.
That's my mistake.
That's right. A Brigham Young University pole vaulter took great pains to create a TikTok video, literally. Zach McWhorter, which is bad enough, had leaped into viral fame thanks to a scrotum-bashing video he posted Monday on social media platform. As of Friday afternoon, the video had received 3.7 million likes and more than 206,000 shares. The wince-inducing video, which his father filmed last September during what looks like a practice, shows McWhorter successfully completing a leap, only to have the pole hit him right in the testicles, according to the Salt Lake City TV station KUTV. McWhorter recalled the incident, seemingly remembering his leap into digital destiny like it was yesterday. I had a great jump. It felt so good. It was the best jump of the day, the Utah College student told the station. But as he sprung over the bar, the pole recoiled and quote, just got me in the sweet spot, as he colorfully put it. I don't think that was a sweet spot.
That's not how I would characterize it.
Yeah, that's... I think the young man's got some issues.
That'll never fail to get a laugh, though. I mean,
that's true. That's true.
always
Trauma
go
to
viral.
the groin. Yeah,
exactly.
That is the song I'm going to play for this episode, is because that's a Haywood Banks song, "Trauma to the Groin."
There you go.
Yes, let me write that down.
How come, just a quick aside, how come as comedians, like whenever it's not going well, why don't we just like rack ourselves in the nuts? It's like an instant laugh. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you don't want it to seem forced, though. That's the thing.
That's true. I still think people would laugh, though, if you did it.
I think if you had somebody off stage that
Right.
was kind of working with you and you started to bomb and he came up and kicked you right in the
That's a fantastic idea.
with like a wiffle ball bat. You don't want anything. You don't want like a aluminum bat or the sledge back to Sledge-O-Matic again. Yeah, what saved Gallagher's career is smacking himself in the nuts with his own hammer.
He's like one step away from attempting that, I think.
Yes, yeah. He was at the casino up here.
Oh, that's right. That's
Thursday night. So yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to a couple of people the other night who were specifically like they were excited to go see him. And I was like, that's crazy that Gallagher still has like an established fan base.
Yeah.
Because but apparently he does.
I'd go see him. I wouldn't pay what you have to pay to go see him, but I'd go see him if he was locally and it was free and nobody knew. I'd put on a pair of sunglasses and a long coat and I'd go see him.
There you go.
I'd go incognito so nobody knows a comedy club owner's going to see Gallagher. That would ruin my street cred right there.
That'd be the first time he had industry in one of his shows in like a long time.
Yeah. Oh, there's a talent scout here. Pull out the good hammer.
He's got a watermelon caddy.
He's got a watermelon everything. Yeah, he's got all the different hands. Because there was one of his shows where he had like 14 different styles of Sledge-O-Matic.
Wow,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
that's a lot of Sledge-O-Matics.
That's when he started going too far with it. Because some of his early stuff, like late 70s, early 80s, where it was just a bit. That's all it was. It was a bit that was part of his set.
Gotcha.
And it was fine. It was funny. It was a funny bit because he was making fun of a specific thing, and then it's like that's all his show became. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm done.
I wonder how you make that transition, or like how you make that decision. Like you're doing a set one night.
That's where the money was. That's where the money was. He wasn't making money off of intelligent humor. He was making funny off of stupid people going to watch him smash things with a big hammer. This is funny. This is funny, isn't it? And that's so he went with where the money was.
That makes sense. Well,
can't knock that. I mean, it's.
Well, I'm hosting Sunday Comics tomorrow night, and I'm going to try the wiffle ball bat to the nuts thing, and if it works, that'll be my shtick.
I will hold the wiffle ball bat. I will take care of you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I got your back or your balls.
Hey, either way, I'll take it. Just human contact. That's all.
Yeah.
So it's whatever
just
it is.
Any kind of human contact, even if it's a wiffle ball bat to the nuts. You'll take it. That's
sorry, Jim.
That's okay.
Comedians are a sad bunch.
That's true.
We consider that. That's just. Can you hug my nuts with a wiffle ball bat?
Right. Is it too much to ask for?
I just want to feel something again.
So is this poor guy going to have America's Funniest Home Videos chasing him around for the rest of his life now?
I would think so. He would have to, because one time is never enough. I wonder, because the way he talked, it's the sweet spot. He's addicted to it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
No pun intended.
addicted. Yeah, there you go. It's like a narcotic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Got to get that adrenaline from a good nut smack
Nut
from a
smack.
pulp or more nut spack. Either way.
Probably does release some endorphins when you're coming down from it.
If you're coming down from a good nut smack. I'm writing that down. That could be an episode title. Coming down from a good nut smack.
Oh man.
Thanks, Kevin.
Oh, no problem. I get one good line an episode. That's
Yep,
that's
that's
what
it.
I aim for.
And sometimes it gets to be the show title.
Hey, I'll take it.
Coming down from a good nut smack.
Oh, man.
That would have to be it is a relieving feeling. What
Absolutely.
guy hasn't at one point been smacked in
That's-
the nuts, even if accidentally?
That reminds me of like back in the day, they said that when you used to get chlamydia or something like that, that's why they call it the clap, because they would clap it. Yeah, that's okay. That took a dark turn. Let's
Thanks.
back
Thanks
to you,
for
Don.
that. Thanks for that. That's not going to be an episode title.
I tried.
Oh, let's see. A 36-year-old Ohio woman was arrested last week when she repeatedly called 911 to complain that her parents had cut off her cell phone service. Officials in 36-year-old.
Holy
Wow.
crap.
Officials in Stark County arrested Saloni Katarpal of Jackson Township on February 13th after she called the Regional Emergency Dispatch Center demanding that police come to her house, according to a local station, WJW. Authorities didn't note that what phone she was using to make the calls, but dispatchers told her to call 911 only if there was an actual problem. However, she reportedly called back 2 hours later, insisting she felt the lack of a working phone was a legitimate police matter. Court documents obtained by the Smoking Gun said Turple was, quote, belligerent during her phone calls to the point that officers decided to arrest her on charges of disrupting public services, a fourth-degree felony.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes you just take your punishment.
That is, yeah.
If you're 36 years old and your parents are still paying for your phone bill,
Yeah.
yeah, there's an issue there.
That
You
that
don't
in and of itself.
understand. I'm on level 75 of Candy Crush.
Okay, well now it makes sense. Now I get it.
Absolutely. Is Farmville still a thing? And
She's playing. Remember that game Snake? That the old. You guys know what I'm talking about? Where you used to have
Sure.
to catch the. What? There was
I can't remember.
Yeah, there was a little like dot, and you would try and it was on the old flip phones. Like I love that game.
Yep. You would call the police if somebody took that away from you.
That's right. Anybody touches my snake, I'm calling the police instantly. Hit me
Yeah.
with a wiffle ball bat in the nuts, and we're good. But
Yeah,
touch the snake.
don't touch the snake. Man, that's another good show
another
title.
show title.
Yeah,
There we
don't
go.
touch the snake.
It's,
Which is also darn good advice.
it is
Yeah.
rules to live by. You know,
Yes, that's the life.
That's
What would the life be without
right.
providing people the answers that they seek?
absolutely
Yes, and we have a Sherpa on the air with us.
can't go wrong.
Exactly, we're all about that life.
Yep.
All right, I think we'll do one more news story, and
Awesome.
then we'll go to that shameless self promotion we were talking about.
Perfect.
All right, sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, a surfer has told how he fought off a great white shark by punching it in the eye after it attacked him. This is apparently in Australia. No, New Zealand, actually. Nick Minogue from the New Zealand city of Auckland was bitten by a shark on Saturday at Pawania. I don't know, Pawanwi? Some beach. Some beach.
So
In the country's some other region. Man, I always pick names I can't pronounce. That's pretty stupid of me to do news. Anyway, he told the
hard to pronounce
New
things.
Zealand here. What's that?
it's hard to pronounce things.
Words are
I think.
tough. Words are tough.
Personally,
He told the New Zealand Herald, I was just paddling along and got hit on the side of my elbow and forearm. By the time I realized what was going on, its teeth were definitely latched on to the front section of the board. Mr. Minogue, 60 years old, said he had heard sharks don't like to be punched in the nose or eye, as opposed to some of us that just love that.
right?
So I actually shouted at it to fuck off. and went to punch it in the eye and missed, he said. But apparently that was
There
enough.
you go. That's all it takes.
Yeah. Fuck off!
That reminds me of the guy who punched a kangaroo in the face. A few
Yeah, when
years
it was
ago.
attacking his dog. That
was a great video.
I love Australians. They're just
They're pretty
and New Zealander Kiwis.
Kiwis. Yeah, that's right. They're a pretty rowdy bunch. Australians. That's
Fighting around the world.
Now I did have someone punch my snake in the eye once. No, that was too far.
You can't even get them to touch your snake.
I know. Yeah.
You sure they didn't hit you in the nuts with a wiffle ball bat?
That's
or
what
a
it
wiffle
was.
ball,
Yeah.
just a wiffle ball.
That
takes aim though.
I was blindfolded, so I didn't know. It could have been either or.
Oh, that's
honestly.
okay. Well, if you're blindfolded, that puts some things on the table that wouldn't otherwise be there.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Like touching the snake. If you're
then
blindfolded,
it's fine, 'cause
you
then-
fully expect your snake to be
That's
touched
right.
at some point.
That's right. Then it's kind of your fault, if someone.
Exactly.
That's-
Exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm hearing another show title for you there, Don. How about The House of Phallic Reference?
Yeah, but that's not just an episode title. That's what we're all about.
Maybe that should be the title for the show.
Right, exactly. It's no longer the life. It's just
So,
the House of
House of
Phallic
Phallic
reference.
That's actually.
I'm going to
great title.
rebrand.
Oh man, this is
Welcome back to
this
the
is
House
your,
of Phallic reference.
This is your Gallagher moment. Where you're like,
Yep, the
I
money's
found
in the dick
money.
jokes.
That's where it is.
Yeah, we're going a new direction here
That's
on
right.
the House of Phallic reference.
Oh man.
Okay, are we ready? Now that we've got that out of the way, are we ready for some shameless self promotion?
Here it goes.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, tell us what you got.
Okay. So if you want to follow me on social media, Sherpalution is the word, SHERPALUTION, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or you can catch my podcasts on your favorite podcast app or your least favorite podcast app. Or you can go to my website, Sherpalution.com.
Awesome. Well, just Kevin, do you have any links you want to throw out there? Any places you want to be followed other than the alley?
Yeah, the alley's the first one, but then
Right.
after that, Twitter at KRupert89, and then on Facebook, just type in Kevin Rupert Comedy. I got a comedy page there, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, you can always find me at the life1069.com. I have links to all of my. I haven't updated that site in about 2 years, but the links to the shows still work. You can also you can follow me on Twitter at Don Smith Comedy, also Wiley's Dayton. You can also find me on Instagram at the Life1069, Facebook. I'm Don Smith Comedy and the Life Radio Show on Facebook. So I'm all over the place there. You can catch some of my films just came out recently. Black Mamba, you can find that at Walmart.com. You can find it at Amazon. The Boggy Creek, the Bigfoot series is out on Amazon Prime right now. Be sure to watch that. I'm in episode 2 as a featured lead. It's a great little
Nice.
series by Henrik Kuto was the director of that.
Sweet.
Also stars Joni Dorian and Mike Alinsky, comedian out of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Wonderful fella. So, yeah, you can check out all those things. We have more stuff coming up. The Goocher is supposed to be out sometime, I believe, in April. Yeah, sometimes the Goocher comes out.
The other one, Don, I think you were in All Who Follow, right?
I was in All Who Follow. You were as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That one's coming out next month at some point.
Is it? Is
talked
it?
to the
Okay.
director recently.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Because I haven't heard when that was coming out. I was hoping that would be out soon because I want to see my scenes in that. That was fun.
Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
Yeah, I got my heart ripped out.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. But no, All Who Follows coming out. What else? I know there are other things I'm getting involved with. Keep an eye out for Black Wolf. Black Wolf is the one we're starting to work on with the Cinema Lexicon, and Buttons will be floating around somewhere. I'm all over the place. If you're in the Dayton area or coming through the Dayton area, be sure to check out Wiley'sComedy.com for all the best in Dayton comedy. We got several great shows coming up here. Trying to think of when this episode will go out. It'll probably go out before next weekend. I think this will go out Tuesday. Tuesday morning this will go out. So, yeah, we'll have Matt Alano Martin's going to be at Wiley's this weekend. The following weekend, Ray Hensley and Wyatt Cote are going to be co-headlining. So they're both a lot of fun, very funny guys. So, yeah, check all that out. Mm-hmm. And with that out of the way, thanks for calling in, Jim the Podcast Sherpa.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It was a pleasure meeting both of you.
Yep, likewise.
Thanks, Jim.
Kevin, thanks for being in. We're going to go ahead and sign off, and we'll be back before too long.
Sounds great.
With other people to talk to on the Life.
Awesome.
Oh, and don't forget to check out the March 10th show, 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU, which you can also, we stream it live audio on WWSU1069.org, and we also go Facebook Live. Autumn might get shirtless, so you might definitely want to tune into the Facebook Live version. Yes, absolutely. She is it was a good. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check it out wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we are on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM. You can also stream the show live at WWSU1069.org, and we go Facebook Live at the Life Radio Show's Facebook page. If you have suggestions or comments, feel free to email thelife1069@gmail.com.
Presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
Name's Kevin, and currently battling some adult acne.